Diaspora Kasa in Toronto.
All right, my name is Eric Z, Diaspora. Here we come again with another topic that we think you'll find interesting. It will be a controversial topic, but we go at it and see what we can put down for you guys to decide and give us thumbs up.
All right, so what's the issue today? What are we going to be talking about?
Yeah, I guess the issue that Z should have mentioned is LGBTQ. And I think it's an issue that is buzzing around like a bee. You know, recently, the Vice President of the United States went to Ghana, and I guess that's what he spoke about. And a lot of Ghanaians are not happy with the fact that, Americans haven't even solved their own gay issue or lesbian issue, but yet they're coming into our country and then they're telling us what to do. But I guess, I got a snippet of it, what Pamela Harris said, and basically human right issue. And if it is human rights issue, I think every human being should be able to live their lot of life.
For sure.
Until they die, as long as their life doesn't really affect you. Mm-hmm. They're not coming to your home to practice what they think is good for them. So, to me, I think it's not a problem to me at all. Because even today, if my own child comes up to me and said, "Oh, Dad, I'm A, B, C, D," I may not be happy, but that person's life is their life. It's not my life. When they are sick, they feel the pain. So why am I going along trying to put my beliefs on how I see things through someone's eyes? And I think people should be allowed to live freely and enjoy their lot of life on this earth, because nothing is absolute.
Yeah.
Laws are made, culture and traditions, but nothing is absolute. Nobody knows where they came from, how. So the idea that we have to control someone's life, I think people should be able to live free. Human rights.
Yep, that's the gay issue. It's as old as human beings. And when I was growing up, I just know the gay. It's what I was familiar with. Then, as in college, I got to be aware of the lesbian. So it's lesbian and gay that I have in mind. But when I came to North America, then the Q and the T and the other letters, I became aware of that. I didn't know the biology of it. Then I started to be curious to get to know the biology of it. Once I get to know the biology, then I say, oh, okay, I got it. It's all about sexual development, right? Yeah. So if it's about sexual development, then who am I to criticize it because of my moral doesn't accept it? So I decided to educate myself, and now it's become a political hot potatoes because of all the other branches that have been attached to it, and they become very serious. Activists. Yeah. It's become activism to accept some that are probably constructed for social rebelliousness. But if we want to stand on what the biology that is being gay is, for other cultures that are behind the education, far behind the education, they need help to understand it. And Africa, probably our older generations are not aware of the biology of it. They're just going with the morality of it, that man and a woman, it's what gave birth. So why a man and a woman to woman? That's make rational sense, because a man and a woman cannot make baby, and a woman to woman, a man and a man cannot make baby, a woman to woman cannot make baby. And if that's the case, there will be no population growth. So rationality dictate that moral can say it's not something that people will accept very easy, but it needs a lot of education.
So what you have here is, I really don't know what is really changed, but the constitution of the country and the laws in Ghana today doesn't allow for homosexuality. I do not know how all of a sudden passing new laws to something that already exists, what is really changed so much that this has become the most important thing for a country where unemployment rate is unmentionable. There are no opportunities for people coming out of colleges and universities. There is crime. Almost everything that is there, roads are undeveloped. I mean, there are so many things that our collective resources can go into. And this has become the most important thing. How many people go to bed in Ghana and think about who is sleeping with who in that room? I think most people go to bed thinking about, what am I going to eat tomorrow? What are my kids going to eat? Where are we going to be? How are we going to pay for rent? How are we going to transport ourselves back and forth? Those are things that people are interested in. I don't know how LGBTQ has become this big issue that our parliament is devoting so much energy and resources into this. Churches are championing for people to come on the streets and demonstrate. What somebody does in their bedroom is none of my business, for as long as they are not breaking the law. If somebody is molesting a child, irrespective of whether that person is straight or that person is gay, that person has to pay a price for the crime they've committed. But for it to be that we've put all our focus onto a group of people to the point that two consenting adults doing what they want to do
can go to have a problem.
Have to go to jail for. So what happens? Okay, we don't talk about anal sex. We don't talk about those things. Those are never to happen. Do they happen? Of course they happen. It's okay between a man and a woman. How would you know? Unless they come out and tell you. But a man and a man, it's bad. Our morals, everything, the criminal code tells you today they cannot do that. But why invest so much into it? What is changed?
I guess
are they fighting for
religious
them to have the
right? Being a Muslim or Christians are the ones that are hijacking the government, I would say. But in terms of the government being on its own, and then those religious rights practice their own religion, nobody cares what church you go to or what religion you practice. But the government is there for everybody. And I think in the past, we all know that gay people have been discriminated against, and some people even get beaten and get killed.
Yes,
And is it right? I would say no. In the past, people have used the religion, either the Bible, to see black people as a lesser human being, interpreted the Bible
to suit their own needs.
To suit their own needs. So And people fought and died because of this. So gay people also been fighting for their life, and some of them died because of this. Sometimes when you compare, people get angry, but we have to. As human beings, we need to do better. Doing better is, understand each other and knowing that whatever you do doesn't actually hamper my life. Then I think you should be allowed to live your life as you please.
Yeah, Mr.
That's
Nyanta,
where I stand.
Mr. Nyanta says something like, what happened now, it becomes so much a hard issue, but it's existed. You know what? Don't underestimate leaders, social community leaders or politicians who are very much demagogues and can take a social issue that is very dogmatic to make their position important and relevant and run with it. So leaders will always find a topic that it's morally dogmatic because they don't have any other things to offer for the problem that they're supposed to concentrate on. Human beings does that all the time when they want to be in a position and pitch cultures even against each other. So some politicians in Africa now, with the help of the religious community, have latched on onto this and know that they have a certain generation of the population that will have their support, and they are the majority. So they will latch on to this. And it's happening not only in Africa, other parts of the world, but the education system is getting stronger in a certain cultures around the world that is suppressing the negativeness towards that. So Africa, until those leaders say that's not an issue that is so much concerning for our citizens, they need their jobs, they need their lively inflation. It's like the last time I saw Ghana inflation was 55%, which is almost halfway through economic collapse. If you're, 50%, yeah. So these leaders don't have any solution to the hardcore problem. So they latch on to these dogmatic, issues that have a religious overtone to it and running away with. And nobody is there to.
The religion shouldn't be deciding how the masses have to live. What do you think?
Man, it's religion.
Unfortunately, the same.
It does.
He who controls
the mega mic.
Yeah, the megaphone.
Right. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, certain people have hijacked this whole thing.
Yeah.
Push it to the extreme. I'm just afraid.
Is it the Uganda president who started it?
It didn't start with him, but you've got it. You've got populist leaders everywhere, all over. People want to cling on to power, right? We sometimes overlook the fact that some of these guys that we are looking at and touting them as leaders who have fought for this right are dictators.
Oh, they are?
Right? Dictators who push for themselves to be in power. Constitutions change and all that so that they can be in power. But you have to step back for a moment and ask yourself, we live in Ghana today. All you have to say is thief, and people will run after somebody, stop them, lynch them, right? Without absolutely no regard for whether there is justice or not. Everybody is supposed to be presumed to be innocent until proven guilty, and we have the reverse in a lot of cases. I'm so afraid for those who will be caught in this situation where people will be lynched, killed, without ever being evidence to even prove that they were gay or they were lesbian or belonged to the LGBTQ, just because somebody is going to label them that way and somebody's life is getting taken away.
Well,
Yeah, because one thing that I found out is that they say for you to learn, you have to acknowledge that you don't know. You see, so there's a lot of things we are very ignorant about, but we are not admitting our ignoranceness and just say, oh, okay, I didn't know, let me learn the knowledge and then use it in my self-interest. But, a lot of economic issues have arisen in so many parts of the world that leaders don't have solution to it. So they will hijack something that is morally outrage to their voting bloc and with that with what you say dictatorship, with authoritarian, and start to use that to stay in power. And they will get followers. So the gay issue has become the way they will even bring it out with the disgustness for you to hate. Because human beings have a way of censoring something that is disgusting without even knowing how it smells because of the way you communicate it. Our mind works that way. I remember the Uganda president in parliament say, why would I put, I don't want to be very graphic. You say, why would I put this thing into, as soon as a citizen hear that, he find it very revolting. So those are the things that they use to downgrade other human beings. Yeah. To downgrade other human beings. Yeah.
Religion plays a bigger part in this.
It's always
and that's what a lot of people use to stay behind it and cause all kinds of crime. People need to live their little life and die and go. And indeed, if you believe you're religious or whatever religion that you're in, and you want to go to heaven, you die, you go alone. You don't go with anybody. And then if there is a judgment, each one of us will receive it. If that's what you believe, when you get there. So I think it's about time, and this is an issue that we need to talk about it very often so that people will learn. Those who would like to learn will learn from it. As diaspora putting things out there, diaspora kasa putting things out there.
Yeah, I would just add one more thing. Social grouping sometimes can be positive and negative. If we can educate individual, just like Dr. Agre said, if you educate an individual, you educate the family. I will be in a group of people, I'll be saying something that one person will find is very much like what I'm saying makes sense. But because we're in a group, a lot of people will shun away from it. Sometimes group settings sometimes can make us not to agree on something, but individually, we do agree on a lot of things. So I think we're coming to the end of this topic, and we hope you like it. And if you like it, give us thumbs up and press the like button. And next time we'll get to another topic for you to enjoy. Diaspora Kasa.